Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to the video. This is the paid request. This time for Ozzie the Owl. Thank you so much for that. And for those interested in requesting any type of videos, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. And this is for something called Carry On Sergeant, which I did not know what this was, but it came out in 1958. So that means it came out, what, like 65 years ago or something? Something like that is crazy. Yeah, about 65 years ago. And I guess this was a movie that was successful enough that spawned a franchise that consisted of 31 films, 4 Christmas specials, a franchise that kept going till like 1992. And to be honest, when I watched this, I went, why? It's a British comedy. It's, of course, about the military. It's one of those films that you watch, you go, it's harmless. It's fairly harmless. Pretty much, it starts with this guy's wedding, but during his wedding day, he gets called up. He gets his call up papers. And as that's going, he's trying to figure out, well, damn, I gotta go do this. So he goes in, and it's a basic training comedy, which for me, I just seen films that have done that funnier, both back in the day and more current, or kind of more current. So, for example, at the time, before this film, I should say, Buck Privates with Abbott Costello, I would say I found much funnier. Maybe just Abbott and Costello, their comedy hijinks, the way they approach the material, which is either A, I'm more used to it because I grew up with that more, while this was something I've never seen before. Maybe their brand of comedy just was more humorous to me than the more British comedy of the Carry On franchise. Maybe the Carry On, maybe they're a bit more dry, and so I get the attempts at comedy, but I didn't. There wasn't a whole lot I laughed. There's maybe one moment I chuckled at, perhaps, but not too much. So I'm sitting there going, you know what, Buck Privates, or even the sequel, Buck Privates Come Home, I preferred with Abbott Costello, or even later on with Stripes with Bill Murray. And there's a lot of other military comedies I enjoyed. Major Payne with Damon Wayans. In the Army Now with Pauly Shore. I actually do like that film. I find that rather funny. Even Renaissance Man with Danny DeVito, remember not minding, as well as others. Doctor Strangelove, other types of stuff. But this one, like I say, he goes into the basic training and we meet the other characters. One guy is a hypochondriac who's always complaining that something's wrong, but they keep looking at him, they go, nothing's wrong with you, but he's always scared and he's always thinking that he's sick. One guy is very much dry, very much personable, and just. I didn't really care about the characters. It's not that the acting was bad, it's just. They're kind of. Yeah, whatever. They were what they were. The sergeant in question, he made a bet of 50 quiz that this is his last time training people, his last time he's going to retire, and this time he's going to have a champion platoon. So he makes that bet. So it seems like he's going to be more kind this time, and maybe that would change things. And then pretty much a bunch of random scenes that happen throughout the movie. There's not really an undergoing story. Like sometimes it'd be like, okay, there's an underlying story where maybe a lead guy and the sergeant are getting to know each other, and didn't maybe they talked a bit about the military, or they talked a bit about their families, or maybe this character has issues with their kid and they're trying to understand their kid better, or maybe these two people like the same girl, and it becomes a bit of a love triangle. You think there would be some kind of underlying story? There really isn't. It's kind of just here's a little hopeful comedic bit of business, then here's another one, here's another one, here's another one, until the end of the movie. I did say there is an underlying story. It's the sergeant made this bet to make a champion platoon, and the platoon is dog shit for a good chunk of it. Whether it be this guy with glasses, he almost cuts himself on the Swiss Army knife. Whether it be a guy trying to see a girl, but they keep going, they're going to go to the bed, but it's the wrong person in bed. Training, whether it be with bayonet training, or loading guns, or all this other stuff, and for the most part it doesn't go well. Or a guy does load the gun well. Were you listening? No, I wasn't listening. I knew someone that owned a factory that made these things. Probably one of the few bits I chuckled was one of the commanding officers coming to a guy and going, "What's the first thing that comes to your head?" "Women, sir." "You're a soldier, by tradition and by instinct." "Well, you're a soldier then, by tradition and instinct." So I thought that was a little bit of a fun exchange. But yeah, other than that, you don't really get much about the characters. Really, the only arc is the hypochondriac. There's this other lady that starts liking him, and at first he's afraid of her. I guess because in his eyes she's ugly or something. But then, after a couple things, he starts toughening up, and he just goes to the girl and kisses her and takes her away, and then he gets everybody ready because, hey, we heard that the Sarge had this bet and he's going to retire, and I know what we could do to get better. So they do all that stuff off screen. So then when the day comes, everybody does well. The bayonet training goes well. The shooting goes well. The marching goes well. So then they do well. The men give a gift to their sergeant who's leaving. They get on the truck, they leave. The end. And I'm sitting there going, why was this such a hit? I mean, I don't know. Maybe or in Britain or wherever it just hit the right note, the right funny bone. I don't know. Maybe because it's not really fair to judge it for me because I wasn't there in 1958, of course, so how films were at that time, maybe they seem more fresh or more funny or more clever or more witty than compared to the tons of films that have come out in this day. But again, even watching, I'm sitting there going, I kind of saw this stuff in Buck Privates, and I found that film funnier than this. And that came out before this, because that was in the 40s, and this was 1958. So it's not that it's anything new or original. I didn't really find the film that funny. The film was, at least short enough. And I say it's harmless for what it needed to be. There's nothing in it that made me mad or angry. I don't think the acting was bad. It's just like the characters is, oh, there's that guy, he talks a certain way. There's that guy, he wears glasses. This guy, I guess you call him the lead because it was the first guy we saw. He wants to be able to have a bit of a leave because you called me up at my wedding and didn't even finish the wedding or honeymoon. And also, they allow him to do that. That's pretty much this little how this like dads. Like the hypochondriac, he's late Indiana's stuff, so they put all this stuff on him so it's taller than him, and he goes, "Can you point me in the right direction where I need to go?" He does, and he's walking, the dad is, he's walking, but he can't see anything up above him. Or in the hypochondriac, he keeps saying he's sick, and the other people keep going, "Go, yup, you're perfectly fine." No, there's gotta be something wrong with me. Nope, you're perfectly fine. Or the bayonet training. One guy goes and he misses and he keeps on going. I didn't stuff that I did for me because I've seen these type of movies just seems typical. That yeah, just for me, I thought it was done better before. Not just in but Privates, but Three Stooges shorts. Like there were Three Stooges shorts where they were in the army and they would screw up in basic training. It's just I think because Abbott Costello or the Three Stooges, they just had a lot more chemistry as comedic actors. It just vibrance. There was certain energy to them that really made them glow in a way as performers. That the material itself or the story itself could be maybe passable at best, but they are the ones that made that work. Their personalities, their chemistry with each other, whether it be Abbott Costello, their chemistry, or the Three Stooges together, that made those things work and their comic timing. Here, just I found the characters just kind of blasé. I think that also made the rest of the movie kind of boring and blasé. So, again, why this was such a hit, why it garnered over 30 movies and multiple Christmas specials, I don't know. You don't get it. Yeah, I know. I just said that I don't. But yeah, I wasn't really much a fan. I guess it just wasn't for me. Maybe it's maybe it's a British thing, and I'm not British. I don't know. It, maybe it's just different brands of comedy and comedic taste. You seriously would watch Pauly Shore's in the Army now over this? Actually, yes, I would. I really would. But again, different comedy tastes. What can you say? But with that said, thanks for watching. Take care, and we'll see you guys later. Bye bye.